This is Time and Other Thieves, reflections and conversations on the nature of existence. I'm Sarah B. This episode originally aired in radio format on November 17th, 2022. I'm publishing it here in podcast format on November 7th, 2025. I was inspired to edit this episode into podcast format when a fellow Masters of Group Therapy Club member recently talked about the appeal of smoking cigarettes, something she herself has never done, and with Joan Didion in mind, said, "Serious women smoke." Well, regardless of how true that statement is, I love it, and it immediately brought to mind another Joan, Roberta Joan Anderson, a.k.a. Joni Mitchell, who smoked for much of her life and is still, indeed, a serious woman. Today is her 82nd birthday. Happy birthday, dear Joni. The radio version of this episode originally aired in 2 parts, but for this podcast version, I've edited it down to 1. I've hesitated to make it into a podcast at all because so much is lost in the conversion. The beauty of radio is that you can play songs without getting permission from the artist or label. So in the radio broadcast of this episode, I not only played all the songs on Joni Mitchell's For the Roses album, but also various clips of other songs off other albums, which you won't get to experience here. But you can at least listen to For the Roses on your own. If you don't have a copy, it's available on YouTube and Spotify. Now you're going to hear my voice from 3 years ago. Enjoy. Today's episode will be the first of 2 that are going to focus on Joni Mitchell's album For the Roses, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary this month. It was released on November 21st, 1972. And Joni herself celebrated her 79th birthday this month on the 7th. Back in January of 2018, I gave an in-person lecture on For the Roses as part of Asheville FM's Music Matters series, and I thought it would be fun to revive that lecture in radio format. Time and Other Thieves is named after one of Joni's song lyrics, after all, from Furry Sings the Blues, and she is one of my greatest heroes. As a child whose parents both loved Joni Mitchell, my first introduction to her, perhaps while I was still in utero, was probably her fabulous live album from 1974, Miles of Aisles. Or, just as likely, it may have been her album Court and Spark, also from 1974.